What's going on, my friends? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin. Right now we're sitting at $23,500. We're about flat on the day. What I want to do is take a look from the 1 month time frame down to the 1 hour time frame. We're also going to get into the DXY today, the VIX, and the SPX. So it's going to be good. Going to give you guys a lot of information, kind of tell you what I've been doing in the market now. So if you get some from these videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's dig into this. So first of all, guys, it's going to be on the monthly time frame. The nice thing that we had, the bullish thing going for us, is that we had a bullish engulfing candle last month. We had a nice strong close, and it also came on good heavy volume. So that's a really good thing for us. It's nice to see the strength coming back in. We have not had a candle like this in quite a long time, guys. You'd have to go all the way back to the bull market to see a candle like this. So this is a good thing that we're getting such a strong candle, but we have to realize when we're taking a look at this chart on the monthly time frame, the wind is still not at our back here. And one thing that's really important is this monthly MACD. We have not had a monthly MACD cross, guys. And typically, when you get these to the upside, it'll be the start of those bull markets. And when we get it to the downside, it'll many times be the start of the bear market. So what I wanted to do here is just take out a vertical line, take a look when we had this cross. So roughly right in this area here. Then we'll look at the downside cross. Then what I like to do is actually go out and take a look. So this last time when we had a bullish cross to the upside, we were around $9,000, and that was on our way all the way up to about that $64,000. So we stayed up above it, we kept that MACD cross, and we just continued to move to the upside, and we were above this 50 line on the relative strength, which is important. Now on the downside here, what you can see is once we had that cross, we had already come from the top pretty high here, but it was right around that $40,000. Once we had that $40,000 cross to the downside, for the most part since then, guys, we have just been pushed all the way down to that 15,355. So this MACD cross is going to be really important for us because it's going to put that wind at your back. So right now we have not had our MACD cross to the positive yet, and that's something that I'm waiting for on the monthly time frame. For me right now, guys, I am still just trading in the stock market. I'm trading the indices, and for me right now, Bitcoin, I'm just patiently waiting. I don't want to chase up at these levels. Like I told you, I missed my opportunity. I saw an opportunity at 17,300. I didn't pull the trigger. That's okay. And now I'm just patiently waiting for a great opportunity. I'm not going to chase anything is basically what it comes down to. So for anyone who has hit this move, congratulations. I'm really happy for you. And just remember, guys, never be afraid to take profits or use those trailing stop losses, because many times we're going to get really nice retracements coming in, and it'll give you another opportunity. So if we get into the weekly time frame here, what you can see, guys, we're right in this area where we have this big sell block. So what we're looking at is the order block detector, and this is by Lux. So you can see we're getting up into this range where we're starting to get a little bit of selling pressure, and this range goes from 22,000 all the way up to about that $27,000 range. So could Bitcoin pop up a little bit higher, maybe challenge that 25,000 or more? Absolutely, guys. Bitcoin can do whatever it wants to. Like we've talked about, it can have $10,000 daily candles to the upside or to the downside. So just always be aware of that. And also be aware that what most people don't realize is that markets typically drop 3 times faster than what they rise. So what you can see here, guys, in 1 week, we can go down, just to give you an example, what this week was, almost 30% in a week, and then you can be back in this range here, and you can spend 7 or 8 weeks going up 15%, and then in 1 week it can get all wiped out. So in the matter of one candle here, we could be all the way back down to $18,000 very easily, guys, and that's what we have to be aware of, and we have to be cautious and protect our capital right now, because you know there's a lot of euphoria out there. You can see it in the stock market. People, meme stocks are coming back and everything, and I believe that this is the whale sucking in the liquidity before we go to another leg down and maybe retest some of these areas, which I think a good retest of 15,500, if we could hold that and show strength of that area, that potentially could be our bottom then. But we still have a lot of work to do, in my opinion. So on the daily time frame now, if we take a look at this daily time frame, you can see how we've been wicking up a little bit up into this area. We've been trying to push up, but the bulls have not been able to get up into that area next. If we do see rejection right in this range, I would look for potential buy area down around that $18,200. You can see right now that we do have some buying pressure coming in that range, or at least orders in that range. And then we also have them down here around this $15,700 and around that $16,400. But you can still see, guys, this big sell block right up top here. And then we have another one that's going to be at around 32,000 to about 30,000, right in that range. So Bitcoin still has a lot of work to do. And the problem that I see, guys, we didn't just grind up, and this was not just a nice stair step grind. this shows a lot of short covering. So whenever you get these big rallies that are real quick like this, many times they will retrace and come back on you, at least to that 0.618. So I'm just being cautious there. If we look at our daily MACD, we have also crossed to the downside, so that's something that we do want to keep an eye on. You can see when we got our daily cross to the upside here, that was a really nice move, and that's been the push that we've had, but now we've lost some of that momentum and we've been moving to the downside. So we do have to keep an eye on that, guys, and just be aware. That's the main thing that I can say is, I'm patient right now, sitting back in cash, no problem, just really watching this market. I'm not long and I'm not short, and I'm looking. That's my philosophy for right now. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see we have a little bit of support here. We're trying to make a move, and that was off 23,000. What we need to do is get over top of that 24,290. If we step back and take a look at this as well, take a look at our MACD. MACD is more so relatively just flat right now. It's at a minus 33.42. Relative strength is going to be at a 55. Then if we get into the 1-hour time frame, get you a little bit more detail here. Okay. I just want to turn on some moving averages as well for you here. So on the 1-hour time frame, trying to get up above our 50 moving average here, see if we can get a candle close above that. If that can close above there, we'd probably look up to about 23,715. And one more thing, guys, before we get into the DXY, I just wanted to go back to the 1-week time frame and take a look at this here. So what you can see is that we've gotten up above our 20-week moving average, so that's going to be in green. That's great. And now what we're doing is running into our 50-week moving average, and that's going to roughly be at about $24,947. So that's an area we have to watch. Then we have to also watch this 200 moving average as well. So guys, you can see this whole area here. We have this 50-week moving average, our 200-week moving average, all this sell pressure right in here. So this is definitely an area where I could see us having a nice little retracement, which would be fine here, guys. If we go back to maybe 18,000 or so, if we could find a nice bullish candlestick pattern on some volume and then try to get through this block and get up above this 200-week moving average, I think that's the best scenario for us, because we've already been so extended on this short squeeze here. It's hard to get up through another area such as this with those moving averages and all this selling pressure right here, unless you get that retracement. All right, so guys, let's get into now. Let's take a look at the DXY. This is something we were looking at last week, and we were talking about potentially getting a bounce, and it has started to get a little bit of a bounce for us here. You can see on the weekly getting a nice bullish engulfing candle, so that's looking decent. And then on the 1-day time frame here, showing just a little bit of strength. Still has a lot of work to do. We closed up above our 20-day moving average. Now we're going to try to challenge this 50 and this 200 here. So typically whenever the DXY starts to get a little bit of a bounce, it can be the inverse with those equity markets, guys, or those indices as well, because when the dollar starts bouncing, it typically brings those down and vice versa. So we had a nice little run in the stock market while the dollar was dropping. So we have to watch this and see if the dollar's picking up steam again. Like we said, looking at order blocks, last week we were talking about this. This might show it a little bit better here. So off this order block here, got a nice little bounce, guys. You can see they're layered into there. Next selling order block is going to be up around that 23,027, or I'm sorry, 29,027. So just keep an eye on that, guys. Not something that we have to have a full reversal or anything, but if it does start to get a bounce, that can also put a little bit of pressure on Bitcoin as well. So keep an eye on that. Next one we're going to take a look at is VIX. And on the VIX here, guys, I've heard a lot of people say the VIX is broken, it doesn't work anymore, and I don't believe that at all. I think it's a really good inverse to the stock market, and typically, guys, whenever we get up to around that 30, 35 range, you'll see us reverse, and then once we get down into this range here of anywhere from 14 to 15 up into about that 18 range is when we typically reverse as well. So if the stock market's going up like it recently has had a nice little rally, you can see the VIX was going down, and now the VIX has got to this support area here. This is a main area, and I do believe the VIX is going to bounce down in this range here, guys, which could also put pressure on the equities market. And when we've talked about the VIX, no bear market has ever closed out and been done without the VIX going to about 48, I think it is, guys, like 48 or higher was the research that I was looking at. You can see the last COVID, when we had that bear market, we got up to 85 on the VIX. When we had that big rocket to the downside, VIX really got up there. So for us to get out of this bear market, I would anticipate us at least trying to get over top of 35 to that 40 range, maybe up to about 45 or so. And when you see those spikes, then potentially that could be the bottom for the stock market. But right now, I believe there's way too much complacency in the stock market, and I believe that the big whales are sucking in that liquidity, getting all the retailers to put it in before they slam this market, guys. That's just my opinion. I'm going to continue continue to stay back in terms of cryptocurrency and just wait for a great opportunity. And also, guys, you know, out there right now, there's a lot of exchanges that are paying over 4% on your cash in just the stock market. There's bonds out there. You know, you could do a 3-month bond that's paying you over 4.6%. So there's a lot of opportunities out there besides just going into the cryptocurrency space that you got to keep an eye on. And then SPX here, if we take a look at this. So guys, one thing I wanted to point out in the price action. So after the Powell meeting, we had a gap up, and we could not sustain that. So you can see yesterday we tried to push up. We got up to about 4,185, and we saw a big rejection here. And this is almost like a gravestone doji there. So something that we got to keep an eye on. It came on heavier volume as well. I would anticipate at least some type of retracement back onto that 20 at some point here, and that would put us back at around 4,000. See if we could get a retest of that. On the daily time frame, you can see we have buy orders down here at around 3,923, and then a really big one right down in this range here at this 36. So in my opinion, guys, if the stock market is going to continue this downtrend, which I think it will, you can see these rallies that we've had before can be anywhere up to about 19 to 20%. I remember looking back during the Great Depression, some of those rallies were even up to about 30%. So you can have those huge rallies, and then you end up going for another leg down. And this rally that we've been in now, let's see, we ended up going to about 20%. So guys, this is just an area I would really watch here, because a lot of people are getting excited. They're saying that we had a trend line break out of here, and we're over top of the 200 moving average. If we show you this here, so we're up above the 200 moving average, but sometimes you can see back in this range, we got up above it, we traded up above it, and then we fell through. Over here, we traded up above it, and then we fell through. So you kind of have to look at these things as cushions, and it's the same for Bitcoin as well. They're cushions of support and they're cushions of resistance. Sometimes we can get up above them before we get slammed down, and vice versa. So just really keep your eye on these things, guys. I feel like there's going to be some more pain to come in the weeks to come, and I would just be more careful, is my opinion. But I'm also a cautious guy, and that's just how I trade. So be safe out there, guys. God bless you all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Take care.